Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with Daviona to talk to you about her journey from educator, from teacher to instructional designer. Welcome, Daviona. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Cindy. Thanks for having me on.
It is absolutely 100% my pleasure. The audience is going to love to hear what you do and where you're working. Why don't you share?
Absolutely. I'm currently a content developer for Chuck E. Cheese, working in their learning and development department, where I get a chance to create and have a role and play a role in a lot of the training that we develop for those of our members and teams out in the field.
It is so cool. Just so people have an idea of the magnitude of what you're doing. First off, you're working in the corporate office, right? Like you're not in the restaurants there, you're not in the play areas. And how big is the scope of the work that you're doing? There's a lot of Chuck E. Cheese's that your work impacts.
Chuck E. Cheese has US locations, Canada locations, as well as international locations. So it's a great company, huge company. They're doing a lot of great work. And so I'm working with a lot of great people and getting a chance to create a lot of material for, again, a 500 plus locations across between the US and Canada alone. So it's big. The work is great. It's gigantic, but it's also it's fun. It's exciting. Again, coming from teaching in middle school to being able to work with such a reputable company, it's just been gigantic to me. It's super exciting. Yeah.
Every time, like we were working together, even after you had the job, and every meeting, you would just be beaming with excitement about what you were doing. So, tell everybody about your job or what you love about your new position.
What do I love about it? There's a lot of things I love about it. I first of all, I love the team that I get a chance to work with. The learning and development department is awesome. A lot of hardworking people who really care about what they do and the work that they produce. But second, I love that there is a lot of balance with the work. So there's a new project every day, or every week, really. We'll roll out new initiatives, or we have new things that come up. So that's also what I've enjoyed, the team and the new projects.
So, what are some of the amazing projects that you get to work on at Chuck E. Cheese?
Absolutely. I get a chance to write a lot of the training material that we share with the team. So if there's a special event happening, we like to do our big day of birthdays event every year. So just getting a chance to kind of let the teams know in the field kind of like how that's going to roll out, what they can expect to happen. We have new birthday party packages out there that are fun and exciting, but of course different from how they were in previous years. So getting a chance to share those changes, how the implementation and the service of those birthday parties look like is going to be different. So writing a lot of that. Working a little bit on our compliance trainings. Again, different things geared around new rollouts or new changes that the team members out there adjust to and need, training materials on. So this is a little bit getting a chance to work on I do a lot of modifying and editing and making sure that things are up to date, but I also get a chance to work on some original products or some original trainings. So that's also fun as well. So getting a chance to exercise my skills in a variety of ways.
That's fantastic. And let's just remind everybody listening that you were previously a middle school teacher, and now the trainings you're designing are all adult trainings and staff trainings, right? Everything is for adults and it's impacting hundreds of locations. So you get to every single day feel the magnitude of what you are doing.
Absolutely. Yes.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Why did you decide to leave education? Like many educators, right? I mean, the feelings are pretty similar, but what was your why?
My why, I wanted more work-life balance. I'm a hardworking individual. I give 1,000% into whatever position that I'm in. And so with my role that I did have in teaching, I found myself working, of course, those regular contract hours, but also after school, on the weekends, especially Saturday and Sundays. And I was developing a little bit more balance, trying to set those boundaries towards the end of, that role, but I just didn't feel like it was enough for what I wanted. And so now I knew that, of course, I watched a lot of Cindy's videos that she had with other transitioning teachers and just kind of try to explore what else was out there.
And you work hybridly, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So I do get a chance to work in the office, but also have days where I do work.
So what was your journey like towards looking for a job?
So I started looking for a job. I don't remember the exact year, but it was 2 years before me and Cindy started working together. And I spent probably about 4 months just applying to anything. And when I say anything, I mean like administrative roles, kind of getting a chance to exercise my organizational skills, or HR roles also as well. But I didn't realize that you need to be able to explain to other people what makes you a great fit. Because of course I did not have any experience in that field. And so I did a lot of, I don't know if they call it spray and pray, but I'm just kind of applying
That's it. That's the
20
expression.
jobs a week. I'm just setting a goal, 20 jobs a week. I'll do the easy apply through LinkedIn. I'll just do whatever to get my name inside of the application bank. That didn't work out. Went back to another year of teaching. And then this time around, I really took the time to sit down and say, okay, Daviona, how do we make this transition better? And not just a way to get out, but a way to leave the classroom doing something that that you're really prepared for and that you really want. And so I took some time to, of course, look at in the instructional design field, but also figure out how do I talk about myself? How do I get interview prep? How do I get resume prep? Because I know that I have skills. I know that I'm smart, talented, qualified individual, but how do I communicate that to others? And that's where City came in. So before you, I had okay resumes, but they weren't resumes that were going to get, past that system that we need to get past to get, interviews.
And when we were working together, it was fast. You
Yes.
got this job very quickly. And by the way, you did work hard. I can attest to how hard you worked, but this was fast. What was it like when we worked together? What did you get out of us working together?
I got feedback. I mean, like Cindy said, I think I asked you this question in our first meeting about, how long, because everybody wants to know, how long until, I should expect to get a job. And you were kind of just telling me, that the process, it's the process. So, some people may get a job offer in X amount of weeks or months, and some people, just depends. Um, and so when we first started working together, you made it clear of like, you're going to be there to, coach me through and help me through and get me to where I need to be. But a lot of people get in what they put in, so if you put in a little bit of, time, then you might get a little bit of results. But if you really put in the work, then you're going to see the work that me and you are doing are going to, come out and show great results. So nonetheless, when we started working together, I had a plan of like, I'm going to be doing everything that I can on my end to make sure that our meetings together were as productive as they could be. And so when we started working together, I went through your 12 session videos in like 3 days. So I was
Yeah, I
like, I'm
remember
going
that.
to those, everything that she has to say in those 12 videos, I'm going to already be on board about. Awesome. So I did a lot of binge watching those just in the morning on my way to work and community. And then I think our first meeting, I pulled up a job posting of a job that I wanted, right? And we kind of literally, I said, here's the resume that I currently have, and here's the job that I want to have. And so me and you went line by line and rewrote that resume for that job, in which I think as soon as I pressed apply for it, I think a week later, or a couple of days later, somewhere between 3 to 7 days later, I got an email saying, hey, we want to, meet you for a phone interview. And I was like, oh my God, this is working. So I was just surprised because it's just like, sometimes jobs take a while to hear back. But it was like, no, this resume that me and Cindy worked on was like good because I have a call already. And so I was like, oh yes, I'm dead. Like if there was any doubt about, is this the right decision? Should I have a coach? Do I need a coach? Having that first conversation with you and having us walk through the resume and me just being like, this sounds so good. But then also me pressing apply and getting a call back was like, oh yes, this is great. This is what I want. So that our first session together resulted in a phone interview a couple of days later. So yeah.
which is absolutely fantastic. And how long from start to finish to get this job, from apply to it until you got the offer?
I applied around July 4th weekend and I was offered a position, I think 2 weeks later, a week later.
Yeah,
So
I
it wasn't long. It wasn't long
think
at
it was
all.
like I think it was like 2 weeks
About two
later.
weeks
Yeah,
later.
it was really
Yeah,
fast.
yeah.
We moved sessions to practice for interviewing, right? We moved up some of your sessions so that we could practice, so that you were ready to interview for those imminent interviews.
Right. Yeah. So we did. You helped a lot with just me having confidence in what I'm saying and how to and communicating that to other people. Because I can be kind of like overthinking and like, I don't know if I should say that or I don't know how to say this correctly. You would just be like, you've done this, right? And I'd be like, yeah, I have, but why are you not saying it? Say it. I'm like, you're right. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. How is your life better?
I get to have my weekends back. I get to meal plan and walk around the grocery store and grocery shop, and I get to go to the movies on Saturdays. And the Sunday scaries aren't as scary. There's just a lot of just I get to exercise before work. I don't have to be at work, so early. How I used to do, with teaching and things like that. I get a chance to just find the hobbies and the schedule and the things I wanted to implement back when I was a teacher. I get a chance to try to fit that into this new role now, having more work life balance and having more, I guess, like feeling a little bit more. Well, not a little bit more, very much less stressed about, coming into the work. I feel confident with the work that I'm doing. I feel like, I'm in a supportive team. The work that I'm doing is great. I'm getting a lot of good feedback in terms of how I can, be better in areas and also things that I'm doing super awesome in. Getting a lot of just chance to just say, I feel like I'm growing as a professional, but also I'm growing as an individual outside of my job. I get to have both, which is what
I
I
love
really
that.
yeah.
I really love that. I am so happy for you. What is your final words of advice for any transitioning teacher or career pivoter or somebody who's looking for a new position?
Absolutely. My advice is just to keep going. I know I would say that my transition took 2 years only because the first year I didn't know what I was doing. I just had to make the decision to say I want something different. And I think a lot of teachers, we fall into that bucket of saying, I get my summers off and I get to have these breaks and, the kids and, and which is true, right? But I think if you're trying to decide whether you should or shouldn't make the change, just do some research, see what else is out there, really examine where you are at and where you want to be. I think is some advice I would give if you're in that initial stage. But if you've made the decision that, you want to actually explore more, put in the work to really say I'm going to dedicate time to this. Like I think Cindy, you said it's not her videos. Treat your job search like it's an appointment. Like you have a doctor's appointment at Monday at 7 or 6 p.m. That's your job search time. Go on, LinkedIn and save one job, work on that application, move on to the next one. So really just put the time and effort that you would put into other things the same way that you are doing the job search and you'll see results. I definitely would say work with Cindy. She's done amazing work in terms of helping me see things that I couldn't see because I was in the education world. I never had a lot of experience working, in corporate spaces or formal instructional design spaces. So having someone who has worked with a lot of people who are now in that role and she has the experience and she has the background to kind of help you get to where you want to be, consider working with her just to get direction and guidance, which was important for me. I wanted to know that I wasn't putting in a lot of work, like I wasn't putting in the wrong work. Because you can be a person who works hard and put in the wrong work. So if you want to
Very
make,
well, very well said.
yeah. So
Very well said.
indeed, really take the time to consider this if you want to make sure I'm a hardworking person. If I'm not seeing results, what is it? Talk to Cindy. She can probably point you in the direction that you need. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish you continued success, and I know that you will find it and achieve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy.